Hello, everyone. Welcome to our session today. My name is Edith Dogan. I am Senior Engagement Manager at AWS Professional Services team. I'm super excited to be here today with all of you in a Berlin summit. This is definitely my first time, but I enjoyed a lot. Hope you do as well. Today, we are going to talk about the future of the sports technology. I'm here with my colleagues, Christian and Javier, who will be the co-presenter of today's session. First, I'm going to talk about how we help our customers address some of the challenges that sports industry is facing currently. And then Christian will come on the stage and we'll talk about how Bundesliga Bundesliga, just in case if you didn't know, that's the Germany's premier football league. Yay. And they will talk about how what are the challenges that they faced engaging their fans and some of the customization that they created to push the notifications through their app. And finally, Javier will be talking about personalization, how to implement personalization to push notifications through app at scale. All right, let's get started. Some of the key industry trends and challenges that we see in sports, I'd like to go through them first. When I was growing up, maybe some of you in the audience, we didn't have many options to see the games. We either went to stadium or we watched the game on TV. But now there are many more opportunities and options to consume the content. You can do it through mobile app, through online streaming services, or through applications, or the social medias. This changing behavior for fans, it created a complexity for providing continuous access to many services and delivering continuous content to fans. When we talk about data in sports, we categorize them in three different categories. So first one, we talk about fan data. And secondly, we talk about performance data and video data. The explosion of data is a huge opportunity to design and deliver meaningful and impactful and actionable insights to our customers. The third area that we see is transforming media delivery. Legacy media and broadcast industry is disrupted because there's a higher demand on consuming dynamic and personalized content that can be accessible anywhere, anytime, on any device. In the past, if you're producing a game, you likely send one feed to a television broadcaster, and there you go, the game is on TV. In today, you have to send multiple feeds for different purposes. Maybe you need to send one for international broadcasters, another one for domestic market, and another one for advertisers. There's also an increasing demand from our customers to meet with their sustainability goal. Our customers are looking for ways to utilize technology to understand their options and identify opportunities to improve their sustainability efforts and goals and report on progress that they are making. All right, so let's talk about AWS in sports. At AWS, maybe some of you are already familiar as partners, as customers. We are customer obsessed. We always start with customer and work backwards from it. What that means is we always try to understand what is it that our customer needs and the outcomes that they're looking for. Many of the world's leading sports organizations, as you see here, are working with AWS, AWS Professional Services, and AWS partners, like some of yourselves, to build, migrate, and deploy innovative solutions on the cloud. We are reshaping the sports industry. Whether predicting a probable outcome of the next big play, or optimizing ticket prices after a winning season, or improving on-field performance, we are reshaping the sports industry. Our partnership with Bundesliga that I'd like to talk about next. As you see, we started working with Bundesliga in 2019, and we work with Bundesliga across all these 4 areas that we see trends and challenges. Bundesliga currently is using artificial intelligence, machine learning, analytics, compute, database, and storage services from AWS to deliver real-time insights that improve prediction to game strategy. It also help predict outcomes of the play and recommend personalized match footage for fans on any device, mobile, television broadcast, or online streaming. What are some of the key benefits of AWS for our sports customer? So how do we help our sport customer? We turn data into insights. What that means, I like to provide an example from our partnership with Bundesliga. With Bundesliga, we built real-time statistic and in-depth insights called Bundesliga Match Facts, BMFs, to create a better game experience. And fans love it. In a recent survey to international Bundesliga fans, 95% of fans said that BMFs enhance their game watching experience, and 88% said that they understand the game better, those match facts. And if you're interested in learning more about match facts, some of our builders are here in the audience, but we also have a booth near the Bundesliga Free Kick Challenge, so come visit us to learn more about the technology behind it. And we help our customers accelerate innovation. AWS is changing the games of sports. We are helping our customer to solve true business problems by increasing the pace of innovation and changing the way how data is being collected, analyzed, and leveraged for fans, for teams, for leagues, and for their partners. And the third point here I want to make is, with a vast array of features and services that AWS offers, we make it faster, easier, and more cost-effective to move existing applications onto cloud and then literally build anything you can imagine on the cloud. AWS also helps eliminate technical debt and better align with demand on IT cost and interactive live sports and reallocate resources to deliver high-value projects. And lastly, how do we elevate fan experience? AWS helps sports organizations to deliver high-quality, low-latency, and interactive live sports content to their fans. By transforming the entire matchday experience, both online and in-venue, we help our customers to increase the engagement of their fans, and also deliver meaningful business results. With that, now I would like to invite my colleague, Christian Bonzalet, who will walk us through how Bundesliga is engaging millions of fans worldwide with a real-time, customized matchday experience. Christian? Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Welcome. My name is Christian. I'm working as a solutions architect at DFL Digital Sports and part of the big Bundesliga family. But let me not only introduce myself, but 2 of our amazing fans, Evelyn and Karl. So both are huge football fans. Both are supporters of one of our 36 Bundesliga clubs, and also very loyal users of our official Bundesliga app. And besides their common ground, they have a complete diverse match day of fan experience. So Evelyn, on the one side, prefers to watch Bundesliga matches completely live on TV. And under all circumstances, she wants to prevent from getting spoiled by social media, by news feeds, and sometimes also even by her friends. And within this 19 minutes of a match, she's completely into this big screen. And Karl, on the other side, is not able to follow all matches live on TV. So he prefers to keep himself updated using our digital products, our Match Center, our live ticker, and also push notifications. And these push notifications for him really should be as fast as possible, as he wants to be the first that cheers in a group among his friends. And while Karl is subscribed to nearly everything that is related to his favorite club, Evelyn tends to unsubscribe from certain matches due to an unbalanced real-time behavior of our systems. And the impact for us is a lost engagement opportunity, and it makes it potentially harder for us to increase the fan experience once fans like Evelyn do not resubscribe. Let's take a look at a quick example. So imagine the following situation. There is a match like here with a short break. And Evelyn takes this opportunity to have a quick look on her mobile phone. And while the team is preparing for this corner kick, she receives a notification about a goal, seconds before she's actually able to see this live on TV. I assume some of us might know this feeling if you look back to past World Cup or European Championship experiences. It's every time when your neighbor cheers 10 or 15 seconds before you. And that's exactly this situation Evelyn wanted to prevent. And it impacts how a lot of our fans experience our products, especially across multiple channels. So let's try to make this real-time thing a bit more quantifiable. Let's try to put it in a concrete context. So how long should it take to send a goal notification? That's a very valid question. And let's split the time it could take into several phases from, let's say, ultra low latency, below 1 second, low latency, 1 to 5 seconds. Maybe there's something like a broadcasting latency that spans from 5 to 80 seconds, or a no spoiler area, let's call it this. And by hearing my words, you might recognize and be right that this is not a scientifically proven and hardened graduation. This is just my current understanding of real time that could also change over time. But for the moment, it should help us to make real time more quantifiable and express this in a concrete context. By looking at how our fans use our products, we know that Karl prefers to receive a notification in the lower latency area. For him, real time truly means as fast as possible. But the opposite for Evelyn. Evelyn wants to have this notification more aligned with what she sees on the big screen. So by putting real time in a concrete context, we can better align our technical capabilities of the systems we build to the needs of our fans. And it raises very interesting and valid questions. So is it important to be as fast as possible under all circumstances? And by focusing on the fans, instead of just applying the technology behind this, I would say the answer to this question has multiple perspectives. And fans like Evelyn and Karl are just two examples out of many that demand more customization options on how to follow a match. And these customization options in the past were kind of limited. So they had options to adjust the languages, adjust the number of subscribed clubs or individual matches, but the top one requested feature in our yearly fan survey was the request for a notification preference center. So fans told us that they want to have more customization options to create the individual fan experience. And we thought maybe it's no longer on us to define this one fan experience for all our fans. And this is beneficial for both fan groups. So first for Evelyn, because instead of unsubscribing from a match, she can now adjust and deactivate certain events she's not interested in, and the value for her is she still receives insightful information about her favorite player or her favorite club. And when we speak about scaling requirements of such a notification system we built here, it makes a difference if we have to prepare our systems to send and broadcast a message to 1 million fans or just 1,000. So encouraging all of our fans to adjust these settings reduces the latency for exactly those ones that are interested in receiving this. And it also is helpful for us. By knowing better what our fans are interested in, we can streamline our marketing and engagement activities and make them more efficient. And these activities not only focus on the match day itself. So what we see is that engagement is typically high on the match days and it drops once the match day is over. So our biggest objective and most important goal is to extend the match day experience and extend engagement and fan experience, especially between the match days. And in order to do this, our activities are grouped into several phases, from pre-match engagement, where it's all about preparing our fans for the next big match, about reactivating them for the app and bringing them back in. And during the match, sometimes there's no much need in terms of storytelling or raising the excitement, as a match can truly and naturally be the main driver of engagement. So when your favorite player gets substituted in, scores the final goal, the story is told, basically. But the most important phase when we speak about keeping engagement high or extending fan experience, it's this post-match engagement phase. Here we speak about sending match recaps, match analyses, or digital highlight clips, for example. And we use several layers of segmentations in order to do this, from the broadest language segments up to club supporters, to segmentations that cover the whole match day, up to each individual match segment that we can target individually. And we know that certain fan behavior and actions have an influence on, or influence the growth of those segments, but also on the growth of those engagement KPIs that are related. If Evelyn decides to unsubscribe from a match and does not resubscribe, she won't be covered in the post-match engagement phase. And this makes it harder for us to keep engagement high if the segments are getting smaller. The solution we built around this supports this engagement strategy, and what's happening behind the scenes is basically that we receive all these events directly from the stadium and process them in real time, and in this case transform a goal that happened or a substitution or kickoff into a notification that we then broadcast to all our fans. But there was certain need to reinvent the way how we think about notifications. Especially when building this preference center, we thought about migrating to another solution to not only have notification at scale, but also segmentation at scale. And therefore, we did the step to migrate this to Amazon Pinpoint. First, because we wanted to have segmentation at scale. Second, because we not only wanted to think about one channel in isolation, but building more omni-channel experiences for all our fans. And you might be right by looking at this very simplified architecture to say, okay, both services have similar capabilities and features, and you're totally right. But they have different kind of intentions and trade-offs you have to consider and handle when looking at these services. So Amazon SNS, on the one side, is mostly used for technical use cases, or often used. When it comes down to building messaging solutions, or when you want to have certain level of decoupling of your applications. Or when you want to build a publish-subscribe pattern implementation. And to be honest, this was exactly the case here. So having this one notification, this one goal event, and broadcasting this to hundreds of thousands of fans, well, that's very related to a publish-subscribe pattern definition. Amazon Pinpoint, on the other side, emphasizes more on segmentation, on engagement journeys, and puts more focus on business use cases that are related to marketing and engagement, from classic newsletter marketing to marketing analytics, but also in our case, sending real-time updates for sports events. So Amazon Pinpoint really helped us to rethink the way how we think about segmentation. And every fan movement and every fan change is captured in our systems, and we see that fans that follow a club are put into the corresponding club segmentations. And we were even able to build a hierarchy of segmentations following a certain logic. So whenever fans subscribe a club, they are implicitly subscribed to the corresponding matches. And Pinpoint helped us now to even make this hierarchy of segmentation more fine-grained on an individual match event level. So every event you see here is kind of a very tiny or specialized segmentation we can target individually. And this scales to all 36 Bundesliga clubs. This scales to all of their matches. And this scales to all of their each individual match events that are happening from match to match. So resulting for us in creating over 20,000 of segments completely automated per season without any kind of manual intervention. And at the time, as we submitted this talk, we always spoke and dig the numbers and spoke about 20 million notifications, but recent numbers show that they are even higher as we can scale even more over time. And as of now, we send out over 30 million of notifications per match day. And for us, this feels, and this is truly segmentation and notification at scale. So what do our fans say? They like what we did from two angles. First, they are still impressed how fast our notification works and how fast our whole solution is. But they are now also very happy that they can be their own notification administrators and individualize their fan experience. And I really like these quotes because they show that we put real time in the right context for our fans. And these are real customer reviews, but they could have come from Evelyn and Karl, as they very much reflect the way how we think that they experience Bundesliga. By integrating Pinpoint also with data and analytics services, we are also even able to drill this down on several layers. We can say, and we see in our numbers, that the Preference Center helped us to reduce the number of match unsubscriptions by 60%. Here an example on our recent Klassiker. And this is important because it increases our targetable audience and it helps us to extend the fan experience and extend engagement between the match days. Drilling this down on an individual match event level, we see that fans that opt out from goal notifications show 87% less match unsubscriptions. Or our kickoff notification have a drop in 75% match unsubscriptions. Even notifications that are sent more in advance of a match, like our lineup announcements or the electronic program guide, have 32 or 65% less match unsubscriptions. And this is really great, and we are truly very proud of this, and a great team effort of everybody that worked on this and making this happen and sharing these numbers today. So we not only swapped Amazon SNS out and Amazon Pinpoint in, but we built more around this. So we use now also, together with the official sports data for notifications, the same data for creating these segmentations. So whenever a new season starts, whenever a club getting promoted or relegated, whenever a new match is scheduled or announced, we process these data and we do not send notifications, but we create these segmentations. Our audience management component takes care of capturing every preference change in the system and updating the audience database of Amazon Pinpoint. And a queuing mechanism built with SQS in this example is very important because the durability of a queue combined with good dead letter queues and retry policies helps us to not lose the sensitive information on the fly. And by integrating and building an analytics solution around this, we are now able to query and analyze segmentation trends, query and analyze engagement performance and campaign performance, helping us to make our content marketing activities more aligned to what our fans really need. All built with modern and serverless cloud architectures and technologies running on AWS. So coming back to our two fans, we learned today that for us at Bundesliga, real time is not defined by an absolute number. It's defined by the value that we can provide for our fans. And I hope I showed to you that we were able to provide value for two of our most biggest fan groups, those that watch a match live on TV and also those that completely follow the match on our digital products. And we talked a lot about, or I talked a lot about, not you, I talked a lot about customization today. And I'm very happy now to hand over to Javier, telling you more about how you can use this, what we built, as an excellent baseline for better personalization in your products. Javier, stage is yours. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Christian. Hello, everyone. My name is Javier. I'm a senior data scientist for AWS Professional Services. So in the previous part of this presentation, we have seen how the Bundesliga leverages the power of customization to lift up the fans' experience when consuming Bundesliga content. What I want to do now in this part of the presentation is shift gears again and see how we can leverage the power of personalization to give the fans an even more seamless experience when using the Bundesliga app. So in order to do so, what we need to do first is create some common ground and define what we understand when we talk about the terms customization and personalization. So they're seemingly similar on the surface level, but they're different, and the main difference lies in who's taking the action. So customization is explicit. It's controlled by the user, and they're explicitly asked to take action and to set their preferences and to tailor their experience to their own preferences. In our case, they can go to the notification preference center and tell us which notifications they would like to receive and which ones they don't. Personalization, on the other hand, is implicit. So it takes place without actively asking the users for their preferences. And in other words, the company, or more likely their algorithm, makes changes on behalf of the user by leveraging the user data and tailoring the experience to the individual needs. But it's important to understand that personalization and customization are not two opposing concepts. They're in many ways two sides of the same coin. And often customization can serve as a first step towards a truly personalized experience. But before we dive into that, let's make sure we understand why we're even doing that. Why do we care about personalization, and why should you? So I think that most of you today already experience personalization on your smartphones. Maybe it's the personalized feed on your social media app, or it's personalized movie recommendations on your on-demand streaming service, or maybe it's product recommendations based on your past purchase history. Personalization today is everywhere. In fact, a recent McKinsey study shows that 71% of consumers now see personalization as the standard level of service when engaging with businesses. What this really means is that personalization is no longer a nice to have. It's a must-have if you want to provide your customers with an experience that they're used to from the apps of all the competitors. Personalized experiences are known to boost customer loyalty and drive sustained engagement. Especially if you run a fully digital operation with a direct-to-consumer model, it's been shown that it can increase revenue by up to 25%. And this is also especially relevant in the sports business, because in sports we see that cameras become more and more affordable, and this additional amount of cameras will result in the ability to further diversify content, which will then cater to the audience's need for a more immersive experience. Together with the Bundesliga, we have supported research at the German Otto Beisheim University School of Management, also called WHU. And this research of future top-tier sports products has shown that there will be an increased acceptance of advertisements in these top-tier sports products. However, only if the advertisements are personalized. So what this means is there will be new business models in the future that allow you to bring out the content from behind the paywalls and really reach a larger audience. But your ability to leverage these business models is dependent on your ability to provide your customers with personalized experiences. We at AWS and the Bundesliga, we have now a quite rich history in building personalized solutions together. In fact, what you see on the right side of the slide is the result of the first personalization project that we did together. What you see is the home screen of the official Bundesliga app. And fans can come there and they can find articles about the latest and greatest in the league. And in order to always provide our fans with the articles that they're most interested in, we've implemented this recommended for you section. And here we only show fans articles based on their implicit and explicit preferences. So what was their reaction to this first touch point with personalization? The numbers from the A/B testing were actually quite impressive to us, and the signal was clearer than we would have expected. We improved on two major engagement-related KPIs. The first one is user engagement. we increased by almost 70% the number of articles that were read by users compared to the non-personalized version. The other KPI is app retention. Here we increased the number of sessions by user by 24%, and we increased the time spent in the app by 18%. So this great success motivated us to build personalization into other products and features. And looking at the Bundesliga app, what we have with this already is personalization inside of the app. So whenever a user opens the app, whenever a fan opens the app, we show them the things that he or she is most interested because we know about their preferences. The next step would be leveraging the knowledge of those preferences to bring a fan that is currently not in the app into the app. And this is where we enter the area of personalized notifications. So how can such a solution be built? Building personalization from the ground up is pretty hard, and I'm sure many of you have experienced that already. It can come at a high cost of total ownership, can increase time to market, and it can significantly delay your return on investment. You need a really skilled workforce, and you need a workforce that has machine learning expertise, which I know and you know is hard to find and even harder to hire. And finally, you need some level of editorial control, because no system is perfect, so you need to be able to intervene. Amazon is almost 25 years now in building personalized experiences into our products and features. And based on this experience, we have built Amazon Personalized, which is a fully managed AWS service that allows you to build personalized user experiences without the requirement for machine learning expertise. It comes with many great benefits and features, but the one we're focusing on for our personalized notification solution is called intelligent user segmentation. So traditionally, user segmentation has relied on manually curated business rules to make assumptions about user intent and sorting them into predefined one-size-fits-all audiences. Amazon Personalized goes way further than that by leveraging ML techniques to predict what an individual user is interested in. It allows you to identify users that are interested in a brand, in a category, or any other attribute, really. So for the example of a soccer league like the Bundesliga, it could allow you to identify people that like to watch live matches with their friends on the weekend, so a social match audience. When you can tailor recommendations to a subgroup of your audience, it leads to higher engagement with marketing campaigns and in the end, a higher ROI on your marketing spend. So how can we leverage this feature and combine it with the Bundesliga notification solution that you've seen before? What we want to do is create a connection between Amazon Personalize and Amazon Pinpoint. One gives us the power of intelligent user segmentation. The other one enables us to send out real-time notifications. Together, they empower us to send out personalized real-time notifications. So how does this work in our example? So we have a group of fans, and each of them may or may not be interested to receive a specific notification. We don't know. And we have our high-level item categories, which are matches and clubs that happen on the different match days. For each of the match, there's a set of events and corresponding notifications that fans might be interested in. Amazon Personalize is now responsible to dynamically create user segments for each of those events. So it's responsible to tell us who might be interested to hear about cards and who can we ping if a goal happens. After that, Personalize needs to provide that information, which is essentially a set of user IDs for each event, to Amazon Pinpoint. And then Pinpoint can, as before, as we're used to, handle the send out to the identified segment. So this is a quite high-level overview. Let's go one level deeper and see how this would look like on an architecture level. So our solution can be logically divided into a personalization engine solution, which is deciding who's getting the different notifications, and a notification solution, which is doing the actual send out. At the heart of both of those solutions lie Amazon Personalize and Pinpoint, respectively. ML solutions are based on data, so everything just starts with a data set. This data set includes data about our fans, so-called user data set, as well as data about the events and the corresponding notifications that we can send out, so-called item data set. I've mentioned before that customization can be an enabler for personalization, and so it's also here. And what we should use is also the data that we have gathered in the notification preference center about the preferences of the different fans. So this will be our training data set. The first thing that we need to do is upload our data set to Amazon S3 in an S3 bucket, along with a training configuration. When that upload is ready, it triggers a state machine in AWS Step Functions, which starts a workflow to provision all the necessary resources within Amazon Personalize. So the first thing that it does is it starts a training job that trains the Amazon Personalize intelligent user segmentation algorithm based on the data that we have provided. When the training job is done, it starts a batch segmentation job to predict the interested users for each of the different events. And once that batch segmentation job is done, it uploads the results back to the Amazon S3 bucket that we've just mentioned. After that comes an event-driven part of the architecture. This event-driven part listens for this batch segmentation job to finish and for new data being available in the Amazon S3 bucket. Whenever that is the case, it starts another state machine that then gets that data, that output from Amazon Personalize from S3, and it starts a post-processing job to make the data compatible with Amazon Pinpoint. After that is done, it can drop it in another S3 bucket, which then starts another state machine, and finally the data can be imported to Pinpoint, and we can send out the notifications to the identified user segments. You can run this training workflow, for example, before each match to regularly update your user segments intelligently. So if now you're in a situation where you want to learn more about how you can target your users, your fans intelligently, I have some great resources for you that will enable you to do just that. The first one is a blog post about Amazon Personalize and Pinpoint. This one dives deeper into the solution that I've just shown you. So if you're interested in sending out personalized notifications or personalized marketing campaigns, the first one is perfect for you. The second one is also an AWS solution that you can deploy, that you can test just like the first one, but it's not focused on personalized notifications, but more like personalization in general. So if you want to build something like the recommended for you section that we've shown you in the Bundesliga app, number 2 is the one that you should look at. Finally, if you haven't had any experience to test Personalize yet and you want to get some experience, especially you want to get your hands dirty, the third one is a workshop on Amazon Personalize that is based on one of our immersion days. Of course, all of those resources come at no cost for you, so feel free to check them out whenever you want. Also want to use this chance to tell you about the Bundesliga Free Kick Challenge that is also happening here at the AWS Berlin Summit. You can come by, you can take a shot. We will measure the accuracy of your shot and the speed of your shot based on technology from our friends from Kinexon. You can come by, you can chat with me, you can chat with my colleagues that also work with the Bundesliga and learn about all the projects that we're doing together. So come by, compete against your colleagues, and win a prize if you're really good. So finally, thanks a lot for taking the time to coming to this talk. Please also take some time to fill out the survey of this session. Your feedback helps a lot to help us improve this content even more. We can learn what you liked most. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your summit. Thank you very much.
Thank you.